Huh? Oh, that works. All right. Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites. We come out week in, week out to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom, America, to prophesy the downfall of the current ruler of this world, who is Esau, who is the so-called white man, and to prophesy the second coming of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Before we begin, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachakadash. We want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And we want to give a salutation unto the hopeful elect. Now, getting into it, we want to get into the MOTB, and just focus on prophecy, because the MOTB, what we read about in Revelation chapter 13, chapter 14, chapter 15, this is a very large prophecy. This is a very important prophecy, and we have to know what the mark is. We have to know what we're looking out for, because we have different camps that say, the mark is this, the mark is that. It's sleep on white women. It's an embargo. It's all these different things. But we have to get into the doctrine of the scriptures, get into what the scriptures is actually telling us that it is, because this is something that concerns us all. When we're met with this prophecy, it's either going to be we take it or we don't. And one of the most important things to it is at least knowing what it is to know what we need to deny. So Baba Kushak, can we get Revelation 13 and 16?
It's the book of Revelation 13 and verse 15.
You want to get straight to 16? We can get straight to it. We'll get 15 later on, most likely. But Baba Kushak, we can start 16.
This is Revelation 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
So it says he causeth all, small and poor, free and bond. Can you read it again?
It says he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
So it doesn't matter what your status is in society. It doesn't matter if you're free or in prison. It doesn't matter what country you're in. This is something that Esau wants to push on every single inhabitant of this planet, except for the elite themselves, because they know what they're pushing on to the people. But for those that Esau's trying to control, for those who he's exercising his power on, he wants to put this mark inside everybody. Now, what is the mark? Well, can we get into that word mark?
Yep. When you get into the word mark, it goes into the Greek word charagma, or charagma, which says a stamp, an imprinted mark, a mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist.
So first off, it's saying what? It's a stamp, it's an imprinted mark. What it's showing us is that this is a physical thing. And then it says of the stamp marked on the right hand or the forehead of the followers of the Antichrist. Now, the Antichrist is a false Christian doctrine, because the scripture says that there are many Antichrists. When you break that word down, the Antichrist is just someone who is against anti-Christ or Yahweh Shai. So people who are against the doctrine of Yahweh Shai is in the spirit of Antichrist. But Esau Edom, he is in the spirit of being an Antichrist. There isn't just one true Antichrist. It's anyone who is against our Lord. But it says that it's the mark or the brand upon them who follow the Antichrist. What should properly go there is just the mark of those who follow and worship Esau's system, because that is what that mark is going to be representative of. That is why it's such a violation to get it, because you are essentially saying that you are against the Most High. You are not depending on the Most High Yahweh to live, to operate. You are depending on Esau's system. You're depending on what Esau is giving you to live and operate.
If I may, to land back off what the brother's saying, when you go, because when it says a stamp or imprinted mark is the same as you put on like your cattle or like your horse to prove, okay, this is mine. It's a pretty much it's a brand. So like the brother was saying, beautiful point is, once you take that branding of Esau Edom, that goes into what is that? 2 Thessalonians 2:3, where it says that he sitteth in the seat of the Most High. Roughly paraphrasing.
We gonna get that here, so that's gonna be
that's Esau Edom's game plan is to take the Lord's people away from him and make them their own.
Right. So this mark is the RFID chip. Now, more specifically, we have to get into what aspect of the RFID chip, because in these phones that we have, there's RFID chips in these. In the cards that we use to buy things at the store, you have chips in those. But the difference with the mark is that you are getting that chip administered underneath your skin. You know, as a matter of fact, when you go into the root of that Greek word we were just getting into, it's the Greek word grapho, I believe. Oh no, karax, which goes into a wooden stake or a palisade. And when you look up a palisade or a wooden stake, it has that, you know, it's that straight wood with that point at the end, which is representative of the needle that's used to administer the chip underneath your skin. You know, now the reason why Esau wants to put this MOTB in everybody, the reason why he wants to put the chip in everybody is for control. Because the system of the MOTB, as we get into it, he's got surveillance on the outside of everybody. He has everybody using the chip when it comes to these cards, but he wants it underneath everybody to where he knows exactly where you are at all times. He wants to know what you're thinking. He wants to know, you know, the ins and outs of you, because he wants to sit in the seat of the Most High, as the brother just quoted. As a matter of fact, we can go to that precept. We can go straight to that. We'll come back to it.
It's the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, and verse 4.
Sorry, verse 3.
And 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come.
Now, what's that day? The day of the end, the day of our Lord's return, the day of Esau's destruction, the destruction of this kingdom.
Except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Now, what was the falling away? The falling away was the falling away of the 12 tribes of Israel, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We fell away from our heritage. That was really cemented in 70 AD, you know, when the Roman army came and sacked Jerusalem, sacked our temple. And from there, you had the Jewish diaspora, because we had to flee from our land and we were scattered throughout the four corners of this earth. Now, we are primarily here today in the Americas, you know, and when we were here, we didn't know who we was. We thought we was the people on this sign of thinking we're Negroes, we're Latinos, you know, Native Americans. We didn't know who we went back to. But through the Holy Spirit, through this truth being sprung up, we're coming back to the knowledge of who we are. Now, that's what that history on the falling away is in brief. But it also says that man of sin be revealed. Not only was our heritage brought back to us when we received this truth, but we received the truth of who the wicked is. We received the truth of the so-called white man's heritage, that he is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. As a matter of fact, when you go to Job chapter 9 and 24, it says what? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Now, who is the earth given into the hand to? First of all, it's apparent to see that it's the so-called white man, it's Esau. But if you need further clues, the scripture gives it, because it says he covered the faces of the judges. Who are the judges? It's speaking about the Israelites. It's speaking about the different men of the scriptures that we read about. And when you look up all the different biblical figures in the scriptures, what comes up? A so-called white man. When you look up the image of God, when you look up the image of our Lord, it's a so-called white man that comes up. You got something up?
This is the book of 1 Maccabees 3, verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Right, and that's exactly what Esau is doing. You know, like I said, when you look up at all these different figures in the scriptures, it's an Edomite that comes up. And that's showing proof of to who it's talking about in Job chapter 9, verse 24. The scriptures also say in Malachi 1, verse 4 that Edom is the border of wickedness. You know, so this is the wicked that is speaking about in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Now, when we go back to that precept, what does it say?
This back in 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right, we read verse 4.
who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High.
Right, and this is Esau's God complex. This is Esau's pride, where the Lord had given him a blessing that he would have the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. We're seeing that blessing being, performed in the earth today. But Esau's pride is that through him receiving this blessing, through him having control over the earth, through him having all this power, he is in his mind as if he is the Most High, that he can rule and govern over the people as the Most High does. And the MOTB is one of the main tools at which, Esau is exercising that, Now, can we go back to that Revelation chapter 13?
So back in the book of Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Right. And we see an example with the aspect of it being in people's foreheads. That's why Elon Musk is pushing what? His Neuralink. That's why you have these different companies pushing their brain computer interfaces, which is just another word for the MOTB, from Synchron, from Stentrode, all these different rivaling companies where they're actually implanting people with the MOTB. And we see that, they're pushing it under the guise of it doing different miracles. We're seeing it under the guise of it being something good for society. Because why? What can it do? For paraplegics, it can give you the ability to walk again. If you can't speak, it can give you the ability to speak to your loved ones. It can give you the ability to live life as any other person who is okay. And that's what Esau is going to do to trick a lot of society into getting this technology, because he's coming in the aspect as if it's something good for the people. He's coming in the aspect as if it's more convenient. It's going to help your life. This is what health is going to be. This is, even with the aspect of when we read in the next verse where it says that no man might buy or sell unless he had this mark, which we're about to get into that financial aspect now. The reason why cash is being phased out, the reason why the different technologies of how we pay for things now is moving to the MOTB is because of different things where Esau is saying, oh, this is you can lose your card, you can lose cash, somebody can steal your money. This is more secure,
Yeah. And then just real quick, I'll get back to this. Like with the conveniency, that really first started like around when you had a lot of kids. It's like maybe 5-10 years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, where you had a lot of kids that were coming up missing, and the parents were getting concerned. So one thing that they started doing, they started putting like these tracking devices in their kids' backpacks, which is like the brother's going into, similar to the chip. You know what I'm saying? With the chip, it's not only going to hold medical records and pretty much your entire life, but also it can trace and track where you are.
Right.
So that was a convenience. It's like, oh yeah, we need to invest in this, because I don't want my child to get snatched up walking home from school. You know what I'm saying? Which, in the mind of someone who's not looking at the prophecy, it's very convenient. But to understand the gradualism of it, is it takes spiritual discernment.
Yeah, and it's like we're saying, it's all for Esau's control. It's all for him, serving as basically being the Most High over the people. Because as the scriptures say, can you grab Sirach chapter 23 verse 19, Al-Fusha? Because with the Most High being all powerful, all seeing, in everything, that's what Yahweh's name means. He exists. He is presiding over everything. Esau wants to mimic the Most High's power through his technology, and the MOTB is a central part of that.
This is Sirach 23 and 19. It says, such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts.
Right. When we look at the sun, we see how the sun is shining its light down on all this land, on all the parts of the earth that it shines upon. Now, the thing about the sun is that, you have different things that can hide behind the light of the sun, through covering of a shadow. It says the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So there's nowhere that light won't penetrate, won't fill up a room. And that's the eyes of the Lord. He sees everything. He nothing can be hidden from the eyes of the Most High. And that's why Esau is bringing in this MOTB, because he wants to mimic that power. Well, while right now you have different technologies such as Palantir and companies like it that are amassing large databases of surveillance from all the cameras in the U.S., everybody's health records, everybody's banking records, everything you look at on social media, that's Esau trying to exercise that power of being able to see everything and his eyes being everywhere. But you can get off of the internet. You can leave your phone somewhere or decide that you want to go off the grid. And that's why Esau wants to come in with this MOTB to where you can't go off the grid. This technology is in you. So you can't just, I want to take my chip out today. Nah, this is with you. And so that's why Esau wants to take this surveillance from being external to internal, and we have to understand that, because right here in Revelation chapter 13, it gives us the insight that this is going to be, a financial tool to where you won't be able to buy or sell without it. But this is going to be something that is, you won't be able to buy or sell without it. You won't be able to go to the hospital without it. You won't be able to go to school. You won't be able to do anything within life without it, Now that financial aspect is important. And we see, the world going toward that right now, which is why we're seeing a rise in these political leaders moving toward digital currencies. With Trump, for example, you see that statue, that golden statue of him holding the Bitcoin. That's because Trump has a quote where he said he wants the U.S. to be the cryptocurrency of the crypto capital of the world. So Trump is, rivaling these different countries of the world, these different powers, to push forth that digital money, which is showing that it's not only in the U.S. This is going to be something global. That's why Trump has pushed that. You have some?
No, I just had to.
Oh, okay. That's why Trump is pushing that Stablecoin Act, or the Genius Act. That's doing what? It's going to make it to where there's going to be digital currency or stable coins that's going to be one-to-one backed by the U.S. dollar. So if you have $100 in U.S. dollars, then you have 100 stable coins. And what they're going to do is that they're going to link it to all these different banks that we bank through, to where it's going to be a very easy switch. If you got $100 in the bank and you want to just switch it to stable coins, you can do it just like that. And the thing with these stable coins is that they're a lot more convenient than dealing with U.S. dollars. It's an easier form of operating with money. If you want to wire some money to another country, it's way easier to do it with stable coins than it is with U.S. dollars. You won't have to pay no extra fees. And so what's happening is that they're doing as much as they can to phase out this physical money that we deal with, to phase out these green notes. Hey, that's why the penny, they stopped issuing out pennies, and now the nickel is next up. They're about to start phasing out these coins. There's already different things at different stores to where with self-checkout, you have to use cards. You have to use some type of, digital form of payment. You can't use cash. And more as time goes on, that's being, exercised at a greater and greater extent. And it's going to force everybody into this system that we read here in Revelation 13 and 17.
So Revelation 13, verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
And the brother mentioned a very important word, which is something called gradualism. Because now with social media, with Esau's propaganda working less and less, people are already, you have people that's not even under the guise of I don't want to use that word, but you have people that's not even calling themselves Hebrew Israelites, or that's not even into the scriptures like that know what Esau has over the horizon. They know this technology that Esau is trying to bring. They're privy to it. So that's why Esau is coming with gradualism, to where it's small steps that he's taking toward the ultimate goal of pushing the MOTB on everybody. So where once it comes, it's normal. It's not as crazy as it would be as if he just shut everything down right now and then, administer the MOTB on everybody.
Yeah. That's why you have more like kiosks popping up because you don't have to deal with a human. Like the brother was mentioning, using mainly a card. You know what I'm saying? You're tapping everywhere. You know, you're swiping everywhere. They're getting rid of individuals at these jobs when you're only dealing with computers. Pretty much everything is digital.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where like you're not going. I forgot the percentage, but basically a larger percentage of people are doing online shopping now than they are actually going to the stores and dealing with a teller face to face. And at a point, they're basically gonna say we don't even need people to work cashiers no more. We don't need people to work at fast food or these different things. That's why you go into fast food places. You can just make your order on the screen, and that's why there's an overhaul of AI now. That's why that Stargate project got passed at the beginning of the year, where there was basically over the years they're pouring $500 billion into AI infrastructure. Why do you think there's such an overhaul of AI power? Because this system, if we're taking out humans and we don't need people operating all these jobs, then we need an overhaul of AI operating these jobs. And this is why more and more we're seeing you can just use the self checkout. You can just, do this or do that where you don't have to deal with a human. The AI is about to start taking these different spots. That's why you see all these jobs getting cut. As a matter of fact, like I mentioned, this isn't just something in the US that we're looking at. In Vietnam, there's been 86 million bank accounts closing to push for a cashless future. We're going to get to the point where bank tellers are about to start losing their jobs, and AI is just going to, you got something about to say? Oh, okay. But yeah, so like I lost my train of thought a little bit.
About the 86 million bank accounts in Vietnam.
Yeah, the 86 million bank accounts have been cut in Vietnam, and that's something that we're going to see hit home here in the U.S. Eventually, all them U.S. dollars, they're gonna shut that system down. That system is gonna crash, and we see. Now go ahead, bro.
And just to land back off of that, they're already working on that. As you had with Trump. Now this is something that I believe they've been working on at least for like the last month, where you had Trump with the U.S. debt, which is 37, it's north of 37 trillion. Which he plans to dump all of that into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So and hence that's following the statute.
Yep.
With him coming out with Bitcoin now. Now the purpose of that, quote unquote, is to heal America's debt, right? It's to take away America's debt and literally what they're planning to do is reset things. And with stablecoin and Bitcoin, that's digital. That means that the dollar's gonna have that much less value. It's gonna have that much less value. I'm not saying it's gonna completely crash because of it, but it's gonna surely fade out. It's gonna phase out, and then it's gonna be digital. And eventually they're gonna present that mark of the beast, man. And right, and that's gonna be a process. It's not gonna happen verbatim like that, but it's just It's so many processes. It will happen in that way, man.
And at this stage, a lot of people wouldn't even trip if we went to 100% digital money. A lot of people already just deal with digital money because at times it is more convenient. They got it to where now you can just link your card to your phone. You already carry your phone around everywhere. Just pull it out, tap the button twice, scan it, you done. And what Esau does is that he funnels people to where they have to use whatever system that he's bringing about. So if you not everybody is just going to be okay with using the technology, but Esau is going to make it to where at a point you have to, because if you go to a store and they say we're not accepting no cash, what are you going to do? You going to get mad at the teller? That's their policy. That's how they do it now. So you need to come back with something digital. And eventually with a system crash, with some type of event, such as what happened in 2020, that was a major moving point to doing things digitally and doing contactless payment, with the whole 6 feet rule, with the whole money carries germs, all these different things, and what with the lockdowns, that introduced a lot more of not dealing with humans face to face, which subsequently is bringing in AI and dealing with robots to do all your transactions. So events like what happened in 2020, what we call black swan events, these things are going to, it doesn't take much for another black swan event to come about to where now we have more reason to bring forth this MOTB. Like we said earlier, it's not just the financial aspect of why Esau wants to bring in this MOTB, but it's the surveillance and the tracking and the control aspect of it as well. And there's other arguments that are being brought to why the MOTB needs to be brought in. For example, this immigrant crisis that they're saying is a crisis, to where, like we're mentioning, black swan events, different things that Esau is bringing forth, to where he's saying we have to bring in this technology. And the last president, Joe Biden, he opened it up to where all these immigrants had come in from the borders and come into the country. And now that Trump is in office, they're saying there's a crisis. They're saying it's out of control. They did that on purpose. They did that as an excuse because why? We need to start pushing this MOTB so that we can see, who's doing what, so that we can see where everybody's at. They may do it to where they say if you're an illegal immigrant and you want to stay in the country, that's okay, but you got to get this technology because we need to keep tabs on everybody. We need to make sure that people ain't doing violent crimes. We need to make sure that people ain't scamming, that people ain't doing, these different things. And they do. This is, they're going to bring in the MOTB as an alternative to certain things, to be an answer, to be a solution. So like, can we go back to as a matter of fact, can we grab Isaiah chapter 47, verse 10?
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, and verse 10. It says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth thee. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee."
Right. Esau's wisdom and his knowledge have perverted him. His all this technology, this whole infrastructure that he's bringing about has. Can we grab that word perverted, Babu Shah? Is basically put him into a mindset as to where, man, we don't need no God to govern over us, because this technology we have, this system that we're creating, can serve as a God. This is better than having a God. That's the mindset they're in. We can create life with this. We can make sure everything's safe with this.
When you get this word pervert, it goes into the Hebrew word shawab, which says to return back, turn back, to return, go back. He said a lot. So to bring back, allow to return, put back, draw back, give back, restore, relinquish, giving payment. Reading down, it says to reverse.
And there was one definition in there that says to turn away from the Most High. And that's why it says in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 that the soul which is lifted up in him is not upright, but the just shall live by their faith. That's speaking of Esau, because the mindset that he's in, that's in Habakkuk 2 and 3, I'm in verse 4. But the soul which is lifted up in him is not upright. Why? Because he is a godless man. And that's why you see the elites of Esau. You see all these technocrats. A lot of them are atheists. A lot of them believe that, this science that they have and all these different things is better than the Most High. And so like I spoke about earlier with the mimicry of the Most High, with Palantir, for example, all the different things that we do on social media, the things that we buy, the paths that we take to work, the things that we watch, the things that we endorse, all of that is in a large database where under this company called Palantir. And it's not just Palantir, because you have all different types of companies, and really it's just Esau's system in general. Palantir is just one that we can point to. But they use Palantir in New Orleans for the police, to where they were doing something called predictive policing, to where they were seeing the different things that people in the area were doing, and they were like, all right, based off of your patterns, based off of the different things that you're doing, we think that you're going to commit this crime. And that's eventually going to become normal. And at the end of it all, what they want to do with the MOTB is that when that's in you, in your right hand or in your forehead, that's going to be linked to your thoughts, to where when Esau can see you're thinking about rebelling, or you're thinking about an idea that's against what Esau wants you to think. And so now you're a criminal, even though you haven't done anything yet. That's the type of stuff that Esau wants to do. Where the Most High knows all of our thoughts, all of our intents and purposes. The Most High has our path laid out before us to where he knows everything that we're going to do. This is Esau's form of mimicking that, you know, with this whole Palantir thing, you know, or not just Palantir, but really, it's like I'm trying to put it. Basically, with this system of Esau tracking and surveilling everything that you're doing, and you know, eventually there's going to be something called a social credit score, you know, to where based off of if you're moving, as a matter of fact, we can go back to that Revelation 13 and 15, Baba Shah. But basically, Esau wants you to be moving within his society and moving within his control the way that he wants you to, you know, but we can grab that.
So Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Now, what's his image? His image is his philosophy, his way of life, all the different things that he pushes that is contrary to the Most High Yahweh. It's his science. It's his democracy. You know, because that's him ruling over the people in his form of government that's contrary to how the Most High says that we should be doing it. It's his medical industry. It's the LGBTQ plus idea. It's the women's rights. It's all these different ways of life that Esau pushes that we should be living in that's contrary to how the Most High says that we should be living. Yeah. Now, what Esau wants to do is that he wants people to worship the image of the beast. And people worshiping the image of the beast is endorsing it. It's people saying, no, this is the way that you should be living. And when you have people that are against it, you know, they're condemned. They're you know, put as villains, or as if they're evil people. You know, and it says that if you would not worship the image of the beast, you should be killed. Now, that killing is not that killing, because there's situations where if you aren't operating in a way that is in line with Esau's system, then you would be put to death. You're gonna have brothers and different believers that are put to death for not receiving the MOTB, as we read about in Revelation chapter 14. But that killing is also speaking about a separation out of society. A certain
I'll back you up on that. When we get to the etymology, there's a definition in there that complements that for the word kill, which means to nullify or neutralize the quality of. Mm-hmm. You know, and no, they started that in 2020. You know, you had to have a mask on, you had to have that sea ragamuffin in order to get into certain places, or you just pretty much was asked out. You can't come into this specific restaurant unless you're vaccinated. You can't come here without a mask. You can't do this, you can't do that. So on a grandiose scale, that's the same thing with the MOTB.
Right.
You know, you're gonna be separated from society. And they came out and even said it themselves, like pretty much I forget who it was, I believe it was Gil Bates, who made a statement around the ESCA. You're gonna be pretty much you're gonna be pushed out of society in a sense if you don't go along with this technology.
Well, we see an example of it going on in China, where they have a complete, you know, surveillance state, to where they're paying attention to what everybody's doing on the internet, you know, and they got cameras paying attention to everything you're doing out in public. And the thing is, they have a social credit score that's assigned to them, to where if you're doing things that are in line with the Chinese government and the way that they want you to operate, your score goes up. If you aren't operating how they want you to, your score goes down. Now the thing is, if you have a low score, that starts to cut you off from being able to do certain things. You know, as a matter of fact, there's an episode of Black Mirror titled Nosedive, where it was a great example of these things, to where people could basically vote you up or down and, you know, give you points. And if you started operating in a way that wasn't like society friendly, so to speak, and your score started to go down, you know, the main character, when her score started to go down, she had to get the shitty rental car. She couldn't get no high tier stuff. She couldn't take a flight nowhere, you know, and that's how it's going to be, to where depending on how you're operating in society, you know, just like over there in China, If you want to get a certain type of food out of the vending machine, nah, only people with this type of score get that type of food. You got to get this cheap stuff. You can't come inside this type of business. You can't get this type of job because your score is too low, and it's all hinging off what, how you're operating according to how the government wants you. Now, when Esau, there's already a form of this. We don't have social credit scores publicly assigned to each and every one of us, but like I mentioned with this whole Palantir thing, they're tracking each and every one of us and seeing who is a threat to the government, who is a threat to the system that Esau is setting up, and they got a score on us. They got us on different lists inside their database on how we're operating, and so the thing is, once the time comes, there's going to be certain parameters that's placed on certain people. You can't, you know, this isn't open to you. You don't get this type of freedom because of the different ideas you push. Because we're against LGBTQ, then that'll make your score go down. You're not a humanitarian, because you're against abortion laws or things of the sort. You're not a humanitarian. Your score goes down. And like I mentioned, this is showing how Esau is rivaling the Most High, because he's going to make it to where your ease of living, or whether you're blessed or cursed within life, is based off of if you are adhering to his way and his system. It's based off of if you're adhering to his laws, the way that he thinks you should live. Really, we should all be adhering to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai's way, to those laws, statutes, and commandments, because that is where righteousness proceeds. That's where life comes from. That is the proper way to live. We see under Esau's rule and under his way, the earth is languishing. The earth hates it fast to pass away under Esau's rulership, but he still wants everybody to be underneath, his thought process, what he thinks is right and wrong.
This is Revelation 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Yep. And that wine are those philosophies. It's those different things. It's that American way, where now we're seeing that American way within the cultures of these different countries around the world. Now these different countries are following after America's banking system. Now these different countries are following after the social hierarchy and the order within the household that's pushed over here in America. Now women is not dressing as chaste as they was in these different countries, as they was in America. Now they're following after American entertainment and these different things.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Right. That's all the different slacking. I'm trying to figure out how to put it. That's basically all the different deals that America does with these different countries, and them coming up off of each other. All the different trading they do, all the different resources that they ship back and forth, the imports and exports and things of the sort. But the point is, these different countries are following after the way that is pushed here in America, because America is the heart of Esau's rulership. Even though he has his hand in this whole world, America is the heart. And so the different things that's pushed in America is eventually going to reach his hands into all these other places. But as I was saying, and was there a point that you want to make with that? Because if not,
oh no.
Okay, I just want to make sure. But as I was saying, with this whole social credit score, the way that you're going to be judged in society is going to be based off of how Esau wants you to walk. And this is just a prerequisite to the MOTB, because once you get that technology in you, there is no rebelling. Esau is within you now. Esau will have the ability to where he could turn you off based off that technology that he's going to have in you. You have some?
Yeah. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 14, and verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
And this is why I mentioned at the beginning, it's important to identify what this is speaking about, because we are supposed to avoid this. We are supposed to, whether we're faced with death, even in the face of death, not take this technology, because there's a destruction that comes with it. You are openly, basically separating yourself from the Most High, and like it said in Sirach chapter 23 verse 19, such a man only feareth the eyes of men and not the Lord. We would rather Esau do whatever he wants to do to us for not taking his technology, rather than face the Lord's judgment for taking it. That's the mindset we have to be in.
Yeah. And that's gonna take a lot of faith, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna take a lot of faith, because, like the brother mentioned earlier, as far as with using credit cards, using your phones, and doing online payments, so on and so forth, that has become everybody's way of living, not just those who ain't teaching the word. Even the men of the Lord, we utilize these phones, we utilize these cards. You know what I'm saying? So when all that is cut off, or when it completely switches over, so now we got to make a decision. Then that's when faith is gonna have to kick in, because how you gonna eat? Right. How you gonna take care of your kids? How you gonna protect yourself from dangers? So on and so forth. All these things are gonna be that's coming down the pipe for each and every last one of us. So that is the mindset we want to be in. But that is it's gonna take a great deal of faith. That's why it says in Isaiah 33. It says that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength and salvation.
Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength and salvation.
Yeah, it says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength and salvation. That wisdom and that knowledge is the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures. It's going to be exercising the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures. It's going to be exercising that faith that we've amassed from getting into these scriptures. And that stability, that goes back to faith, and it says the strength of salvation, But it says the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Baba Gashad, can you grab in it's Isaiah 55, I believe, where it says, "My servant shall eat."
This is the book of Isaiah. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, and verse 13. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty."
Right, we have to have faith in these different scriptures like this, where it says that the Lord's servant shall eat. And so if we continue to abide in the faith, if we continue to walk after the spirit and not after the flesh, transform our ways and walk in a way that is pleasing unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, even unto the end, the Lord's going to take care of us, if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And that takes faith, because what Esau is going to do, he's going to make life very hard to live for all those who aren't adhering to his system and falling into his way of life. Esau is going to make it, to where everything's shut off from you, to where you, like you mentioned, you can't buy no food, you can't go to the hospital, you don't get no help the way that we was getting from this society before. And so that's when we're going to have to fully fall back on the Lord,
It says, "Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed."
It
says, "Behold."
It's like it says, "My servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed." Because at the time, once this, initially comes about, it's going to be a shakeup. You're going to have, people are going to look at us like we crazy for not adhering to this system. But at the end of it all, once that destruction comes, we going to be on top, and they're going to be the ones that have to eat the fruits of that destruction. It takes faith to believe that somehow, even in the face of all that's going to be against us, once that system comes down, that we're going to still be able to rejoice and be fruitful and be fed.
Hey,
I was gonna say, and as they say, easier said than done. You know, it's like this past week, we had the brothers read Hebrews the 11th chapter, which of course is a beautiful chapter. You're hearing about the faith that different men and women kept, and how they overcame and prevailed for what they, the promises, all right, for the things that's given unto us in the near future, all right. But it's not like you can just read that and just boom, you got it like that. Like every day, the Lord is putting you through opportunities to build that faith. The Lord is putting you through opportunities to work on yourself, okay? Because when the system hits, or I would say take a hit rather, when shit hit the fan, it's going to be a drastic change. Just like in 2020 when when the world was panicking, but through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, it was like, no, we're not taking. You're going to have that. But what if I lose my job? And then you got to lose your job, and this is whatever the case is. But throughout your daily lives and on a day-to-day basis, the Lord is putting you through situations to work on yourself, to build up until the final exam, for lack of better words, man. Okay, so that's why we go through things now, so we can be built up for those moments to come. All right, and that's why counsel is important. That's why rebuke is important. That's why honesty with yourself is important, man. Self-examination. It said, "Examine thyself, whether I be in the faith," man. Because I know the brothers is going over the MOTB. That's your whole life. You know what I'm saying? You set 2-3 alarms to do what? Make sure you make it to work and shit. All right. So when you can't work and ain't working, and then you ain't no Call of Duty, ain't no NBA, no 2K, no Madden, and none of that. Whatever you entertain with, your whole life is gonna be changed, man. All right, and that's the break and the boiling points that Esau wants. He's pampered this society and pressured them into submitting unto him. So when they start to push back and he cracked down, most of the society is gonna be willing to go back in line, get back in line, because they don't fast. I was sitting thinking about this. A lot of Akim are getting into detoxes. A lot of Akim are getting into fastings and cooking for themselves, and a lot, And I look at it like, well, maybe the Lord is getting our bodies prepared for what's coming, because it said it's going to be pestilences. So if you eating like crap, so what around when you mess around and get sick because you eating like crap, you ain't attending to your immunity and stuff. All right, that's why the spirit flows how it flows, man. Okay, you got to stay in tune.
I just want to say something, because it's not like it's a far off thing. There's a Esau working gradualism. There's shit in everything right now, from the entertainment. There's can we get that in Hosea? Was it I believe it's Hosea? Come out of her, my people. Was it Habakkuk?
Michael.
Oh, Micah, damn. Micah 2:10. Yes, like it.
This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction.
Yeah, so, that's because really when we talk about the MOTB and all this, what does that mean for us? Because somebody had made that comment on a comment board. I think the last session that we did, and they said, well, what does that mean? What are we supposed to do? That's why we're on the watch hours to warn you and tell you about the said perils, because like it says, through the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. All right? Really, it's supposed to be some type of level of common sense. So when things are being and said, i.e., hey, the house is on fire. So I got to give you a direct order to tell you to leave out the house. You know what I'm saying? So if we're telling you the food is poison, certain foods are poison, certain entertainment is distractions, and things like that, hey, that's on you as an adult to between you and the Lord. The scripture says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right, we're not here to shove a stick up your ass and then walk you wherever you need to go, okay? And put puppet strings on you and manipulate you and make you do everything, because that causes resent, that causes back, like we're not here to do that. We're here to warn you, all right? You're upon wise house, men and women of the Lord, to warn our people from the wicked one. But within that warning, what is it for us to do? We are to stand stiff. We are to stay on watch. We are to keep order. All right? We are to walk in the spirit so we don't fulfill the lust of the flesh. So when it says, come out of her, my people, for it is polluted, it is on, not on you, it's partially on you, but we're telling you the pollutions of the world. All right? We're telling you the image of the beast is a part of that pollution. All right? That's why we're saying, like and just stemming off what the brother was saying, like, it may be the spirit, the fast. No, it's like, it ain't the spirit for the future. Not only that, but it's for now. All right? They're putting shit in food now. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord has had mercy and grace on us to keep us in a certain health state. But then, once we progress and move forward, you know what I'm saying? The Lord increases our spirit, all right? Because he walks with us, all right? Because there's a bunch of shit in foods, where Jake should be eating, like, the water's messed up, all right? Anything that's in boxes, the preservatives, the additives, the metals, and all these things that are in food that's just breaking down your immune system, on top of Esau pumping all this into the airways, all right? And that leaves you in a state of confusion. It leaves you emotionally unbalanced, all right? And then you sit around and don't move. You just sit in a chair all day, which is, we reference that as a new smoking. The elders been doing walkie talks for a long time, man. All right? So to do what? Things like that should be, ain't like follow the leader, but there's a energy, okay?
This is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
Yeah, the way we wake up in the morning, what we expect out of life, all right? We have to be renewed and transformed in our mind, all right? And Babylon is set up so that you have to worry about its system, all right? Because of recurring payments. Recurring payments from the way they set up marriage, you got to constantly, not like do your job, keep your house well ordered. You got to make sure your woman is the way they set it up. You don't have to make sure, but the expectations of Babylon and what they call love is you got to take your woman out. You got to, give her roses. You got to tell her I love you every day, to make her feel like she's wanted. You know what I'm saying? When you come home and all the bills is paid, you don't hate her, you don't put her away for no unbeknownst reasons. Because the scriptures say, render to your woman through benevolence. And people like to bend that. And this means it's just to drop rod in her. You know what I'm saying? To take care of her. The scriptures say when you get another wife, her food, her raiment shall not be diminished. It ain't say nothing about no love. Okay? But that's a display of love by taking care of that individual. Okay? And Esau manipulates that through Section 8, food stamps, government subsidies, jobs, degrees, hiking up the market price. So two people in a household have to work. All right, he disorientates that. You know, going to the food, he disorientates that. All right, you don't have time to sit there and roast a full body lamb in your backyard, or they dig the holes and put the banana leaves on top and all that. You don't got time for all that, man. All right, so now you got to microwave it, nuking the hell out of your food. Okay, you know which hey, I'm a part of that. But hey, the spirit been telling me, man, get you a toaster oven, man. You know, use an oven. You know, because he takes away our time. The main blessing that the Lord gave us, which is time, he's occupying that to make you tender to his system. All right, when in reality you don't have to be occupied into his system like that. You know what I'm saying? And hey, like I just told my household, man, like, you know, people do like the no whatever Novembers and stuff like that. It's like no tech November, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's no technology, man. You know, because you're gonna have to get up and read. You're gonna have to exercise. You got to do something to entertain yourself. You know, because at the end of the day, we're distracted. All right, we're distracted with this technology to the point you can't even pay attention. Your head's down, but you can't see reality. And you've been doing this for so fucking long that, you know, you can't comprehend common sense. You know what I'm saying? Because the internet told you what common sense was. You know, the internet tells you what love is. Just like I was watching this movie 28 years later, and the movie The Kid. It's on Netflix, so if you haven't watched it yet, I'm gonna spoil it. You know, the kid pretty much went out with his dad to just work on killing zombies. They damn near got messed up, and they came back. And the dad pretty much, the kid was all nervous because there was fast zombies chasing him. And the dad, when they came back, the dad was like, you know, he's a hero, but the kid was fucking up, missing, falling and shit. You know what I'm saying? He killed the easy zombies. But his dad was bigging him up, trying to boost his confidence, boost the morale of the city, you know. But then the kids drinking ale and stuff. They were Irish, so he come out throwing up. You see his dad, you know, so-called committing adultery. He wasn't. He was just dealing with another woman. Because as I referenced earlier, if thou gettest another wife added on, all right, her food, her raiment, her clothes shall not be diminished. Meaning, if you get another woman, you can't have yours, because that's what women do. You know, being hard-headed, I tried it, having multiple women in one house, and you know, you tell one woman, and she's like, "Oh, I'm the first wife. I'm the first wife." And then the second one gotta be treated like a fucking infidel and shit. You know, which I wouldn't do it. You know, and it causes a rift. You know, and at the end of the day, that comes from Babylon. Somebody niggas want to be first instead of actually building a household. They forgot what the whole purpose was. The instant gratification, you know, that instant gratification demon runs rampant, you know. But there's a lot of pollutions and ideologies that Esau pushes through movies. He pushes in the food to make you subservient to it. Like all these metals, it breaks down your immune system. It gets through your blood-brain barrier, and it causes emotional regulations. It causes disorientation to where you can't think straight. It calcifies your pineal gland, the ability to process and do things. All right. So not only the metals, when you see these chemtrails, it's being pumped in the air, but then when you got these boxed foods, they got metals and toxins in that. All right. Then when you go and Jake want to, you know, get sophisticated. Oh, I'm not gonna drink the bottled water, which bottled water with the plastic is fucked up. But then when you go to the aluminum, now you're putting aluminum in your system, which is one of the worst metals you can put, because that's the one that gets past your blood-brain barrier real easy. You know what I'm saying? And now you all bugged out. Then you're on your phone. You're full of Hennessy, weed, and gummies and shit. You know what I'm saying? So now your spirit is really low vibrational and open to any stupidity. Okay? It's just like being drunk. You know what I'm saying? Not only you're drunk, you're high, your immune system's fucked up, and your mind can't process things straight. So it's gonna take whatever it is given. So now you get music that's putting out certain hertz and vibrations, and then because brothers will speak on it and they say, you know, oh, I don't like rap music, I don't like rap music, all that beat and all that. It ain't the fucking beat. The beat does something to you. The beat makes you want to get up and do something. A major chord makes you want to get up and do something. Minor chords make you feel depressed, you know, diminished, augmented. They have different effects on your vibration. You know what I'm saying? It's not the evil in the music as far as the tones. Those tones just activate certain energies within you because we all water. But when you're open and you're inebriated and your processing is low, all right, now they're saying, telling you kill, 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 or eat, or fuck, fuck, fuck. And you're just constantly hearing that. Even if you don't want to fuck, you're looking around and you go on your phone, you listen to music, fuck, 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 you go Instagram, booty, 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 booty. You know what I'm saying? You watching TV, just like I was saying with the 28 years later, got the fucking zombie, his dick out and shit, running. Like, why? You know, why show not an upper torso or this show like an old school the Esau used to show ass cheeks and shit? I'm not asking for that.
That's right.
But, you know, why you got to make sure you got to see this man's rod and shit all throughout, and it gradualized to it was blurred out until they just showed full on shoulder shit, man. They just like this fucking shit here. I'm watching my daughter's watching this little fucking anime on the Incredibles or Invincibles or something like that. And then one of the superheroes, his friend is gay. He ain't gay, but his friend is a part of the alphabet community. And then they just talking like it's normal. What they trying to tell you? Oh, you can hang out with them and it work out. No, these motherfuckers they're the pedophiles of the earth. Okay, they're the freaks of the earth, man. I'll go ahead and say it, man. Okay, they're the ones you got to watch your kids around. You know, and they're trying to get you to be desensitized with being around them.
I got a precept.
Okay,
this is Ephesians 6:12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Yeah, because that's you know, we're wrestling against, and it may seem like it's they're doing seances in the corner. You know, you got the Bohemian Grove. That's true. Ain't no lie about it. But it's what they do when they ask for power to enact whatever they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They're asking for help from these demons to give them power and just like we ask for help from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right? We're gonna teach, but without the Lord's help, our teaching ain't gonna be as effective no matter how much we learn and how much we study. So it's the same thing with them. All right? They're asking for help from the demons from the left-hand side to give them the power to, you know, they'll be sleepy and the demon to get their ass some drive and start fucking figuring out how to work the atomic bomb or how to put red 40 in gummy bears and shit. You know? They're like them demons that give them life, man.
Yeah, I know a couple of musicians said that they would do that they would pretty much conjure up certain spirits before they would get in there and lay down music, man. You said it's like it's an outer body experience, and I'm at the concert, and it would just give me the song. Like if you got that if you can do that, you're gonna keep using that because that is getting you what you want, that fortune and that fame, man.
Yeah, and now that was the old school because those niggas actually were the ones that was playing the music and getting on there. So you have to get in a certain vibration, and they do it now, but they do it through inebriation. They take the mollies, they take all that, and it separates them from their body. You know what I'm saying? And it almost puts you almost astral project. That's why when motherfuckers get on all that lean and all that, you know, they separate themselves from their body, man. It's from reality. And them demons start working with their ass, man. You know? That's why when Wayne ass was all on that lean, he was going crazy. He was snapping. Them demons, he was fighting hand in hand with him. They probably he wasn't freestyle. They wrote that shit down for him. You know? That nigga was possessing the way.
It's Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Yeah, and that's why the Lord is hastening the day. That's why the devil's coming down with great wrath. Because Esau is doing so much that, you know, all this wickedness. Let's get Isaiah. Was it Isaiah 47? Stand now with thy enchantments, man. You know, because that's more of the end of it. What I'm talking about is what they're doing now. You know, now the Lord, as the answer to it, the Lord is going to shorten the days. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But we're talking about, okay, the day is going to be short, but what you going to do in the middle of that? What's going on? Why is he going to shorten the days? Because it's evils. What are the evils? Okay? Like we said, the chemtrails, Jacob be walking around because they're willingly ignorant. They don't want to listen to the prophets. They don't want to listen to prophecies. All y'all want to hear is laws because y'all can walk around with fringes on and think that'll give you salvation. That ain't the case, man. All right? You gotta be willing to overcome in these last days. Overcome what? You gotta learn how to diet right. You gotta learn how to put the damn phone down, put the controller down, put the remote down. All right, and open that book up. You gotta go outside, get your ass some vitamin D. You know, you gotta deal with the natural things that the Lord gave you, man. You know, play with your kids. You know, I'm not saying that like playing with your kids is better than playing on a video game. That's just all I'm saying. I'm not saying that's playing with your kids is gonna give you a deliverance, but it raises your vibration. All right, it raises your vibration. Your kid can make all that oppression, like the scripture said, oppression make a wise man mad. You know, your baby, you holding your baby and you dealing with him and make all that shit go away, man. You know what I'm saying? Praying, fasting, separating yourself from this world as much as you can on a consistent basis. Okay? Because this world is polluted, it shall destroy you with a sword of destruction. Let's get that in. What's that? 1 John. It says, be not of this world. So what are we to do? To come out of this world. Now, does that mean that we don't, you know, don't immerse yourself in this world? You can dip your hand in there and get something out of it if it feels like a pool, but don't go walking in the pool, swimming all in this shit, man. Put you a glove on, dip in there and get what you need to get, and get the hell up out of there as soon as you can.
Don't get you one of them lawn chair floaties with the cup holder and all of that, just relaxing in there.
Yeah.
Hell no. See, I'm gonna hold your breath in. I got you though. 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Yeah, so it says, let's get that word world. The world is this ideology, okay? The concept of marriage, the concept of success, the concept of a diet, you know, the concept of healing. The Lord said the healing comes from the earth. Not Tylenol, not running to the hospital for chemo. Get off the hot dogs. Get off the processed foods, okay? Go eat you a clove of garlic with some honey in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why, you know, like, but Esau tell you, you can eat the hot dog still, but I got this pill here that'll stop all of whatever's going on within you. You know? Like, I went to the physician, and he told me my certain levels of my body was off. He was like, here, take this pill. He didn't ever say, you got to stop doing this, you got to stop doing that, you got to stop doing this. He said, these are things that's messing you up. But he was like, if you take this, you can still keep doing all that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, hell no, I'm just going to stop doing it.
And that's the thing. People think that that's the solution, is the fact of indulging in BS, but having something to numb the pain, for lack of better words. It's like, nah, that's why where we just read, love not the world. He say love it less. He said just don't love it at all.
Yeah.
You know, I got that definition for you. It's cosmos, an apt harmonious arrangement or constitution, order, government, the arrangement of the stars, heavenly hosts as the ornament of heaven.
And the main point is the government, the system, this networking system. I ain't talking about the literal government. It doesn't literally mean that, okay, don't love politicians. And no, it's talking about don't love the things that they're telling you is the way of life. Y'all allowing the government telling y'all what is the key to life. Okay? Studies have shown blah blah blah. And now your ass is walking. Studies have shown that, get you an education, education. You go to school, what are you going to be when you grow up? They're trying to program your ass, man. Okay? They're trying to program you. I want to be an astronaut. I want a career day. Got motherfuckers coming in, doing shit. They're trying to keep your ass in the educational system, man. Okay?
It says the world, the universe, the inhabitants of the earth, men, the human family, the ungodly multitude, the whole mass of men alienated from the Most High and therefore hostile to the cause of Hamashiach.
Yeah, the Antichrist. But you will never know if you believe in this world. That's why when we talk about how to deal with women, these other camps like IUIC, ISUPK, they'll get flabbergasted when we talk about the great doctrine, so-called great doctrine. It's in the Bible. So it's not like a doctrine that we're trying to reinterpret it. It says it in the Bible. It's common sense, right? But because they've been indoctrinated in Babylon, they don't want to believe that that's that. They don't know how to come out of the world. All right? How I was raised, my mama raised me, and my mama said that you should never do that to a woman. Society told me you should never do that to a woman. Okay? You should never hit a woman. Like Bill Burr says like I would never do it, but you mean tell me that he said that there's no reason to ever hit a woman. And it's like, okay, I would never do it, but you're telling me that there's no reason to ever hit a woman? Are you serious? Like there's women. They had a woman that recent video woman had she had a pistol, man. All into Edomite's face. Bumping up into him, barking in their face, talking about, yeah, I'm a whoop whoop. And then she raised it and chucked it and tapped his head a couple times with it. And then he caught her ass, man. He shot, and the camera kind of panned off, and she was knocked out on the ground. His knee was on her back. He cocked it, drew the bullet, emptied the clip, threw the clip away, threw the clip to the side, cocked the bullet out the chamber, threw the gun to the side, and he could have did worse to her ass, man. Right? You go to the comment board, ain't no reason to be hitting a woman like that. You could have did this. It's like, nah, man. She deserved to get shot. But ain't nobody gonna say ain't no reason for a woman to be acting like that.
Yeah.
Because this society upholds that nature. This society condones a manly behavior coming from a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's what it says. Our women's not gonna come out of her in that way, because it's beneficial to walk up to a man or to go to a place and get a gun. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst thing a woman can have is a pistol, man. All right, just imagine your woman got a knife in your house. Anytime I want to start wielding a knife, man, I don't feel comfortable at all, man. Because they're irrational beings, man. I ain't saying that they shouldn't wield a knife. You gotta cut and do things, but when they start swinging at and getting mad and shit, let alone a woman with a gun. And we go to that story, she did a hit and run and tried to zoom off. And so she panicked, and through her panic, she tried to use hyper-aggression, man. Okay? Because she probably full of fucking hot Takis, shrimp, metal-induced shrimp. You know what I'm saying?
King crab, brother.
Yeah, red 40. All kind of pollutions. You know what I'm saying? Jake. But anybody got something?
So 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, it says, love not the world.
How you gonna take the precept that I was just reading?
I
got more
Let's
to
do
it,
that.
bro.
Yeah.
It's like it.
You wanna read?
No, go ahead. It's like it.
It's verse 16. It says, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes."
Yeah, the lust of the flesh. Esau makes assure you because it's endless. Money's endless. The want of things is endless. All right. The scriptures say, be content with your wages, man. All right. Give us this day our daily bread. Give me poverty, no riches. Okay. So, but Esau's system is always a desire to want more. You're never gonna feel like you have enough. And just like Will Smith said, there's a term, cliff top is the same as cliff bottom. You know, because the natural things in life are free. Okay, people are chasing love nowadays through roses, uh, uh, um, um, dinners. You know, holding. You know, but loyalty is true love because when people are fucking 67 years old,
Yeah.
their body parts ain't working,
Yeah, bro.
but they still love each other. They ain't able to get up and take their baby and lay out roses. So if love is genuinely based off all that, why are they able to still hold on to it? Okay? Because love was never that. That was just a perk. Just like serving the Lord ain't about getting gifts and benefits.
Yeah.
All right? It's just about following his order and doing what he wants us to do. And he will throw us a bone here and there. King Solomon, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to do his will, and the Lord said, I'll give you riches as well. He threw him a bone. Okay? That's doing his will. So the lust of the world, oh, you looking at Instagram, you seeing motherfuckers on yachts and shit. Now you see motherfuckers sitting on the beach at vacations and all that. Now, just create memories. You know what I'm saying? So now you feel like you have to do these things.
Can I get this quote?
You know? Yeah.
This is a quote from Seneca. It says, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor."
Yeah. Because you feel like you don't have enough, man. And it's going to do what? It's going to take your soul. And the Lord said you cannot serve the Most High and Mammon. And that's what Esau wants to do. He wants to divert your attention from the Most High and have you serving Mammon, which is riches. So now you feel like you got to go on vacation. You damn near got to, because they're going to work the hell out you in Babylon. You know? But you should be able to go and, like, you can take a vacation every time you get off from work. Just take your family and go do something. Go walk, go and feed your spirit, man. That should be your vacation. Now, if you're going to do something, that's fine. But it shouldn't be a necessity.
I got a precept. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell.
Yeah, and that transgression is he transgressed with his philosophies. He gets you to be diverted from natural affections, as it says in the first chapter of the book of Romans, man. That people through much knowledge they knew not the Most High, and changed their affections. Even though it's talking about the alphabet community and all that, it was specifically speaking on that. But there's other things that Jake has lost a natural affection for. Okay, people lost natural affection for human interaction. I was watching a video today, chick walking with her husband on the beach, and they're spending more time. Like, I don't want to. I'm gonna say something. There's so much shit that goes into it. She's walking. I'm gonna say this one. She's walking up the beach, and she's like, "Oh man, they keep walking. We gotta do it over." It's like it's a public beach. Now you're not happy with the simple things of life because you're trying to put something on Instagram to let everybody see the highlight of your life. You go to the gym, you trying to post your workout, and because people are walking back and forth in front of your camera, that messes up your workout. You working out. That was the whole point. But now they gave you a camera. Now that has diluted it and polluted, you doing something that's good for your body. So now you hitting your overhead and you getting it. Somebody walks in front of the camera, you put the waist down. You done lost touch with the whole point of you being there. Exactly. You know? And that's what Esau has done through his pseudoscience, man. All right? His pollution. Okay?
You gotta do things and do it for the world. Like, no, like they had to do it for the gram. And like, man, just do it. Do what you want to do for you.
Yeah, a lot of people can't live without the internet, man. And eventually you're gonna need the MOTP to live without the internet. A lot of people can't live without going to the movies, going out to eat, going to vacations. You know, you could barely travel without they already set it up as a barrier with passports. First of all, you think Paul needed a passport? You know what I'm saying? To go from Rome to Greece and all that. You just didn't have privileges that other people had in those countries because they were citizens. But outside of that, you could just travel. You could pass on through. Okay? That's the thing. Like, you think, you know, Sarah and Abraham sounds like, you don't take me out to dinner no more. You don't love me. You don't take me out to dinner. No, it was like, you ain't laying with me. You don't love me. You ain't giving me kids. You don't love me. Not know if you, I want to see if you really going to be with me. I want to see how much you spend on dinner with me. That's BS, man.
The Romans chapter 1, verse 28, it says, and even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient.
Yep. Where can we get that word convenient? No, gave their mind. He let him go. So when Jake stood pulling and dragging, he let Satan get on your back. He let Satan walk with you. Got you by the neck. You know, whispering in your ear, talking to you. That shit good, ain't it? You know what I'm saying?
It goes in Strong's G 2520. It says to come down, to come to, reach to. It is becoming, it is fit.
Yeah. Which is not fit. He lets you go over to something that is, you know, not good for you. The scriptures say, see what is evil unto thy life and give not that unto it. And all of this, like I said, it sounds crazy, but all this will come full circle back to the MOTP, because now the natural things in life is not what you find pleasure in, and it's all based off of what Esau's providing. And so Esau has the floodgate. He can open and close that gate. You can't open and close the gate to the sun. You can't open and close the gate to joy. You playing with your kid, and you know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Nobody can regulate how that makes you feel. You know what I'm saying? But Esau can regulate. You know, you fucking enjoying yourself on the game, and that motherfucker glitch out. And you say, damn, man. Call him like, oh, you didn't pay your bill. Oh shit. Now your happiness is regulated. Now you gotta get up and go to work and get happy. Because that's the only place you found happiness. You know? Now you're fat. So you can't go nowhere. You got gout, or you got, you know, back problems or heart issues that you can't move around. You know? All this leads to you being broken like a horse, to where you only are going to be willing to consume his products. Because he, like it says, when let's get that was in Sirach, when adversity comes, thou shalt see him, find him there first. You know what I'm saying?
This is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagines how to throw thee into a pit.
Yeah.
He will weep with his eyes. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
Yeah. When he find an opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. So he's always looking to overthrow us. And Jake is waiting on this moment. That's why I had to really want the Spirit Zone make that pit stop. It ain't like a future moment, bro. He's on our ass now, bro. He's on our ass every fucking day. So it's not a day that you gotta prepare for. When that day comes, it's a buildup. Cause when he come with that shit, bro, it's a wrap.
It's like it's like with the like round 4 and 5, like they about 5 and 6. They didn't figure it out, and now they hitting you, but he looking for the knockout.
Yeah, when it comes to them championship rounds and it's now it's time to win. But if you down, you down.
Yeah. Damn, yeah.
You know? And you're gonna have to give you got to give more than what you gotta give, and you might not even have it in you, man.
But if you was already on it, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't have to catch up.
Yeah. If you won them rounds early on,
yeah,
you ain't gotta go for the knockout in the end. All you gotta do is keep doing what you've been doing and not get your ass knocked out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Same, because that's another. It's like you can't get complacent. You still gotta, you know what I'm saying. You still gotta be attentive. You can't be like, oh, I did a lesson, I did some fasting, I did this and did that. Like you gotta, it's a constant staying on your toes.
Well, let's get that. Say not. I have enough goods in my life.
So the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 1 says, set thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough of my life.
Yeah, so don't be content about what you have, man. Don't sit there and settle upon your lease. The scriptures say a man find wisdom and opportunity of leisure. Okay? So when you get that off day, you're supposed to be making the most of it. Yeah, you spend time with your family, you know, like you get your study on, but you ain't supposed to just be a fat pig laying out. That's the spirit that I was in years ago, man. You know, off for me just not doing anything. You know?
Can we get 2 and 3 with it?
Verse 2 says, follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart.
Yeah, because your heart is unstable. It's you know, it says,
Heart is deceitful above.
yeah, heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? And your heart is your mind, your frame of thinking. Okay? So don't go into your heart. You gotta go into your logic. All right? That's like something simple as don't go shopping when you're hungry. You know, you have not had money, and you know everything you need to buy. If only I had this, I got this, I'll be straight. And you surviving, but then when you get money, you don't know what the fuck you get. Like fuck, what was it? Because you want everything now. If your fucking mind is fickle, man. It's all over the place. So you gotta, when your spirit is in the right place, you gotta write things down, man. You know what I'm saying? Write things down, set things in order, and then follow that order. You know, because that's the thing. Jake don't know how to regulate. They move off of emotions. They don't move off of logic. You set a plan up. All right, I'm not gonna spend this. I'm only gonna spend this much. You know what I'm saying? And then you spend that much and don't work out how you want. I guess another no. You gotta follow your plan. Your plan had math to it. Okay? You can't sit there and build the Lord's temple and say, oh, it'll look better if I add a little bit more gold on it. It sounds good. But now you ain't got gold for this corner. Now you got to go to war that the Lord didn't approve of to get the gold.
Damn.
You know?
And that's why when the Lord told them how to build what came into the ark, when it came to the tabernacle, when it came to the temple, he was very particular, very specific. Do it this way.
And guess what? We are the temple.
Yes, sir.
So when we rebuilding ourselves back up, you know what I'm saying? We got to do it the right way. We can't be adding no worldly shit in there. Well, it's not real gold, but it's gold plated. No, the Lord said, put the gold over here. Use this wood. Okay? Well, this wood's lighter and more dense, and it's cheaper. You don't do that, man. You got to do it exactly how the Lord say build, man. All right? And that's when Jake started adding on to the word, taking away from the word, because of the world. That's why the Lord said, come out of it, man, and just focus on what you're supposed to be doing. I ain't saying that you're supposed to be a monk. It'll be good if you live like John the Baptist. It'll be good. But the Lord said that if you desire to be with a woman and your loins burn, you don't sin. Don't deal with that woman. So he's saying it's okay to tend unto your flesh. Okay? He's saying that it's cool because we have desires. If that was the case, you'll just eat rice cakes and drink water. Eat crickets and shit. And just get your protein and just go out and do the work. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you don't want to season your food up. You don't want to put some rub on it. And things like that. Nothing wrong with it. But it says, be not insatiable. Okay? Surfeiting. Not having the ability to be satisfied. All right? Doing too much. You know what I'm saying? You got to know you got to have a balance. The Lord said a false balance is an abomination. You got to go work out. We ain't men of war. We ain't ancient men. What I mean by old men, meaning when we get our food, that we got the goat like this, tackling them, got to chase them, grab them, you know what I'm saying? Shear them up, grab them, cut them, gut them out. That's work, man. We're not doing that on a daily. So Jake got to get up and go on walks in the morning. Jake get up in the morning, like I was saying in the lesson, man, your health. Jake get up on breakfast, start eating eggs and shit, drinking orange juice. You got to go and get the orange and then and crack that joint open, squeeze it. That's work. You just open your refrigerator. No fucking work. Right? You ain't get no vitamin D because you got to go outside to get the orange. You know what I'm saying? You got to actually get up and do stuff to make stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? But in this society, we got to make the adjustment. So therefore, exercise, though it profiteth little, is something that you need to do. Because it tells you a good state of health is a blessing from the Lord, man. Okay? So you should want to be healthy. All right? You should want to have a good frame of thinking.
You want that out?
Yeah, Papa Shah.
This is Ecclesiasticus 30 and 15. Health and a good state of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth.
Yeah, because your ass, you need to take these pills every day. The MOTB come in, and that's the only way you're going to get that pill, because your ass don't know how to get up and move around. Okay? You don't know how to cook. Half these people don't know how to cook, man. The MOTB come, and look what they doing with the
MREs and shit.
not the MREs, but with the SNAP and all that, man. They cutting out juices, Pop-Tarts, and all that easy, accessible food. They about to start barricading this. If you want access to that again, you got to do this. I'm going to feed my kids. You can make gummies. Take some real strawberries, blend them up. Put certain shit in it. But Jake don't know how to do all that, man.
Or they don't want to do all of that. Like you said, that's the work.
They don't know how to do that shit, bro. I can't say they don't want to do it. Niggas don't know. Niggas better not boil rice. I've totally lost confidence in cooking and humanity, man. Hey. To make bread, shit, I don't know how to make. I haven't made bread. I've made it when I was young. Because when we was young, they used to have home economics, and we used to have to learn how to do that shit, man.
That's what it is. Convenience kills the confidence. Everything you could just go to the store and buy. It's like, well, shit, I made it. I to pass that class type shit. Versus now, I got my own money. I go to the store and buy the bread. Not realizing that was something beneficial that the school had provided.
Yeah.
Because nobody tell you to make your. Just go to the store. Go to the store. Go to the store.
That's why I say grocery stores is a demon, man. It's that concept of a grocery store is wicked as hell. It makes you subservient. So when they shut out the grocery stores, Jake don't know how to grow shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're not, I'm not saying that you need to wake up and know how to do this shit. That's not fair. What I'm saying is Jake never attempted. I remember when we used to stay over there with on Florence, man. The backyard, man, it was trash. Dug that shit. I didn't know what I was doing. I did my research though, tilled the ground up, the seeds, watered everything, and during the process, I was doubtful. Like, man, this fucking yard. Like, what if I fuck it up and it just be dirt? You know? I'm like, nah, man. This is what I said I was gonna do. So I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna find out. You know? Then that grass grew like beautifully in the back, man. Thick green grass, and that created confidence that I could grow things. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that, okay, I seen my mom do the watermelons and the squash and all that and growing peppers, you know, that creates confidence. Jake being in the wilderness and Jacob's trouble, hypothetically, your ass got a little, you trying to cultivate, you don't know.
You don't know edible berry from a poison berry.
Yeah, niggas, just like I was watching the Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. You have the little teens and shit. And one of the little young niggas wanted to rebel, so he then went to they went to this place of abode, and they seen chickens in a farm, like a chicken in a coop, like some chickens. These niggas took all them chickens and killed them all and ate them. And the nigga's like, what the fuck would you do that for, man? They lay eggs, bro.
Keep 2 of them.
Should have kept them all, because eggs is protein. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't grow no more new chickens. Unless you grow new chickens, then it makes sense that chickens start dying off, then you'll eat that chicken and then keep the rotation going. They just wiped all the chicken out, man. Now that's it. Now you got to find some more food. You know? No damn discipline. No ability to go without. No ability to regulate anything. Just unsatiable and surviving. That's in the system of the average American. Instant gratification. All right? You need somebody to clap for what you did. You don't know how to sit there and do your push-ups to your goal, meet your goal. You don't know how to run, you know, and meet your goal. Okay? Jake don't know how to operate with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? They don't do things. They just do things for what it is in that moment. I'm hungry. Let me eat. I'm done. You know? You don't know like temperance, which is pretty much discipline and self-control. You don't know how to bridle your body. You got to have these type of things to operate in Jacob's trouble, man. Because again, if you lose it round 1 through 7, and your ass don't know how to cook, you don't know how to find food, you don't know how to go without, you don't know how to emotionally regulate yourself, you don't know how to trust in the Lord and have faith, ultimately, you don't know how to walk in the spirit. Then when your ass out there in Jacob's trouble, the troop comes. You want this candy bar? Come on, here's the candy bar. Come on with me, man. Or they might give you an apple, got the apple poison and shit. Your ass get dizzy, wake up in the concentration camp because you don't know how to go without. Okay? Most of you niggas need to go to jail, man. Crazy enough, because you need to learn the system and not just taking shit from people and getting that shit on your own volition. You know? Yep.
This is Romans chapter 8, verse 6. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
Yeah. And because the spirit and the flesh is two different things. It says walk in the spirit and you should not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So when you walk in the spirit, that's not food, fucking pleasures. Okay? You find pleasures in spirituality. You find pleasures in, okay, I read this, I understand that. I have control of myself. You see a woman, nah, I don't need that, man. All right? You see certain food and it smells good, and you're like, no, I don't need that. Okay? And I'm going to say this, if the Lord's dealing with you, He's going to bring you through a trial to the point you're going to find out in some type of way you don't need that. You know, your ass can't resist them Debbie cakes. The Lord chopped your leg off. You see a Debbie cake now, you're going like, I don't need that. I need my other leg. You know what I'm saying? I might got a gimpy leg. I can't run no more, but I can damn sure walk. I can get upstairs, but if I ain't got no legs, I ain't going to be able to do that, man. You know? Like the Lord will put you in a place to where you're going to need it. All right? But Esau also, he always come, I can give you your legs back. Give your ass some cyborg legs, put the neural link the brother's talking about. Now your ass can walk again, still undisciplined. About to fuck up your lung. Now you got a metal lung. Now it's like they ain't gonna give you no legs. And then okay, all right, see you later. They're not gonna do that. That'll be $55,000 for each leg.
For each leg, why you just give me the total, nigga?
Yeah, they gotta break it down to you. They can't just smack you over.
I can't pay that. Give me them damn legs.
Yeah, but they gonna say, hey, you don't got, you don't got the money. Well, just sign up for this system. You know, you sign up for the system, and all you gotta do is show up here, do what we tell you to do, and through this program we have, it'll pay your legs off. So now your ass is in meetings, and if you say the wrong thing and do the wrong thing, they're gonna take you out the meeting. They take you out the meeting, you can't pay for the legs.
The legs get shit.
You know, they report your leg, or you try to run, it's got a tracking device in it and shit. You know? Shut your legs off, your ass running.
Boy. They gonna wait till you get by the water and shit.
Yeah. That leg walk you back to them. Holding on the doors and shit. You know? But that, I mean, that's how because Esau, again, when you go into breaking a horse, you know, I can't find it. It's in a book, but like when you look it up on the internet, there is no true way to find that concept. But they were saying, you know, because it goes back into the fleas in a jar. It goes back into that concept, and it goes back into the breaking a horse. Because once they break a horse, the horse will be free. It'll do what it wants. They ain't gonna let you ride on them. They got all kinds of things they like to do. But then when you break that horse, it just sits around and eat hay all day and then waits on its master to tell it what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even gotta like tell a horse and make a horse stay there. You can put it, you can act like if you break a horse, you can lay their bridle around some dumb shit and they won't move. Because that's the system that they're used to. It don't even gotta be like a metal post to where he can't physically resist and try to go somewhere else. It'll be just like a regular, like this here. I could just wrap it around this thing to make it look like you're attached to something, and it'll just stand there. They won't say, that nigga gone. And just, horsepower, and then leave. No, it's broken. Meaning no matter what your power is, i.e. Jake, homeborn slave, is Jacob a homeborn slave? You know what I'm saying? Let's get that real quick. Pretty much, Jake have a lot of ability. You got ability to create. You got ability to be something. But they told you if you don't get an education, so your ass gonna sit there in the schools and not believe in yourself, man. Because Esau said you can't do nothing on your own. They tell you every day that you ain't shit. They broke you. Okay?
This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
Yep, so why is he spoiled? You know? Like, we're not homeborn slaves, but at this point we are. All right? Our people are broken. And when you're broken, they can spoil you. What you gonna do with that horse? Hook that motherfucker up to whatever device that you can't pull and make him pull it. You know? Have your ass sign a contract to work in their factories and they can't do the shit. You know, me and the brothers, we all work together, man. We'll come up here, hey, do this. And then after that, you do that, you do this. Then do this and do that. Like, damn, man, this motherfucker's diligent, man. You know, but then his ass got to do it. That nigga, he just, we have to do trucks. You know, 13 trucks. Oh, we're going to add like 4 more for tomorrow. You know, tomorrow. It's like, damn, these motherfuckers, god damn. But then they get the truck. They do exactly what they need to do, and they just get the fuck out of there, man. Because they ain't broken. I ain't gonna say they ain't broken. They broke us to where we gotta do it. We gotta pay for our families. We can't buck up and say, man, I ain't doing that shit. That's too fucking much, man. All right, well, you're fired. You know?
Another monkey that's really like that.
Yeah. Like that little dumbass argument Dame Dash was having, which it was valid. You're not a boss. You're not a boss. You know, but that's not our lot here. We shouldn't be trying to be a boss in this society to roam the world. But you can start up your own business. It's just hard. You go into the book, The Four Quadrants. It tells you the riskiest thing you do is the higher paying thing. You know what I'm saying? But the hardest shit is the more consistent. You could be a worker. It's consistent. It's guaranteed. You're gonna get paid no matter what job you do, how good you do or not. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a business owner, then you know, if you don't do good, if you don't tend to that business, it's like if I make my own garden and how I till my land is how much I get paid. That's like a business owner. But then if you own, I can't say you're it's like an owner operator type of thing. Then you got a person that owns the business and that has people working for them, right? That's even more riskier because you're not the person that's working. You got those people working the farms and they doing all that shit, and you got to find a network, you got to create a network, but it's more riskier, but you could do a whole lot more because now it's not just you doing it, you got 10 people doing it, but you need 10 people that's good enough to do it how you want it to be done. So there's a risk, but then you got to invest it. You're totally not hands-on to it, you're just putting your money into it, and then it'll flip and return to you, and that's less work, but it's more risk. You know what I'm saying? And our people are content with being physically and spiritually a worker, man. When you go and get your education, you're being a worker because you're going to plug right into their system and do what the hell they tell you to do. Okay? A lot of our people, we invented a lot of things in this world. We're the salt of the earth, man. Jake could stop going to Popeyes and all that and just open up their own business. Jake sell better chicken than make better chicken than any restaurant here. You know, cooking with olive oil and shit like that, not fucking well lard and shit. You know, but I digress, man. My point is that people they love this world. They trust in this world. They trust. Matter of fact, let's get that. They trust in the shadows of Egypt, and we're supposed to come out of it. But come out of it's gonna come with a price. Okay, you're gonna have to you got to lose women. You got to lose so-called financial opportunities. But the Lord take care of all that, man. That's where faith kicks in. Okay?
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me.
And rebel is to go against the rule. Okay? Re-meaning back, and bell, I think it's order or rule or judgment. Okay?
And that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may ask.
That covering is representative of culture, all right? The will of the Heavenly Father, our culture, all right? That's why when it speaks of Adam and Eve, you know, putting sowing fig leaves or whatever and hiding themselves amongst the garden, that was them trying to cover themselves with a different covering that was not of the Lord. And that's why it says, why are you naked? Okay? Because it represents that you're not being under the rule and guidance of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay? So the Lord he said what? In the Ten Commandments, put no other gods before me. AKA, don't take on to these other cultures. He told our people, we was reading 2nd Ezra. He told our people that, man. Y'all went and took the covering of these nations, man. Therefore are you heathen unto me. Okay?
And that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
That's what they want to do. All right? They want to do what they want. All right? That's why he said order. You know what I'm saying? If you're out of order, well, he told a woman, but that goes for everybody. If you're out of order, then that's you blaspheming the Lord, because really you're saying his words aren't true. Okay? In a roundabout way. Because he's sitting there telling you, eat like this, deal like that, and then you do it the other way and try to act like, well, I didn't know. No, bro. You're just rebellious. You didn't believe what I said. Okay? You about to say something?
I'm gonna say, going back to how you was talking about, you know, Esau pretty much say, yeah, you can still eat that, but here's this to fix it. Like you said, they want to do what they want. And when you come to the Lord, there's restrictions and limitations. You can't do what you want on this side. You know, therefore they would rather, well, all right, well, I'm gonna stay on this side where Esau allows me to loathe the law and I get a little bit benefits from it. I can indulge in my pleasures, but no rebuke and no regrets.
Yeah, you can get on the internet and cook a bear leg and get hundreds of views and niggas saying, man, that should look good. That shit got, bears got so much parasites in it, man. You know? But what if I soak it? And no, don't fucking eat it.
Apple cider vinegar.
You know?
It's kosher.
It's like, stop trying to find a loophole to wickedness, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Just do things the right way. And it's gonna suck, man.
But the benefits of it is long. It's that delayed gratification, man.
Yeah. Drink water, man.
I
God damn.
I said that I had a damn Minute Maid. My stomach went to getting twisting and turning and flipping and shit. I said, all right, if I go to my next game again, I'm gonna just bring my water, cause that's all they had was juice shit. I'm like, I just bring me some motherfucking water.
Oh yeah, man. That shit fuck you up, man.
I got a precept. This is Sirach, chapter 38, verse 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
Yeah, that's right. Water is the medicine of the earth. That shit naturally, it just naturally keep coming. All right? You know, regular fruits, garlic, you know what I'm saying? Scallions, dandelions. You know, you can find dandelions all throughout, but, you know, you got cars driving by. So you got toxic sludge all on it. You know? So don't go... It's an inside joke, but don't go on the roadside and be making dandelion tinctures from roadside dandelions on the interstate and shit. You know? Don't be doing that. Grow your own damn dandelion. But this is the thing. You have dandelions naturally growing in your yard, but Esau calls them weeds. And now you got in your mind, I need to cut this. And those are, most of them weeds are natural healing things. Funguses, mushrooms and shit like that. Those are natural healing components. Lion's mane, there's another one that's like, it's real flat and brown. They grow in abundance out here in Nebraska, man. They specifically grow in Nebraska. And people see it, pop it down. Oh, it's so ugly. I need the aesthetic to look nice. That's Esau, man. It's like I said, in Brazil, they have these frogs that Jake called sacred, and they help out the ecosystem, and Esau get mad because they're croaking so much. So he started using things to get rid of them, and then it fucks up the ecosystem, and then they got to replace it with their technology to balance it back out. Now you feed Esau. You know? It's like they'll sit here and tell you, you know, you need to stop doing all this and all that because you're fucking up the ecosystem, but they keep giving you cars. It's like this car drove by and you can smell the fumes. Smell the fumes. But then they want to cut down trees because they say science shows that it doesn't really produce that much carbon monoxide to make a difference, but they won't put up carbon monoxide trees, fake trees. So now it's a city full of fake trees. That motherfucker, they turn the motherfuckers off, you're gonna be assed out. Can't breathe and shit. Walking like, hey, you pay your bill? Pay your bill. Nigga, ding. Yeah. Breathe again and shit. Now you need Esau for everything. Because that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to control life, death. He's trying to control water, your thoughts. He's trying to control what's lawful, what's unlawful. All right? He's trying to control us. So when he say, look, eating pork is cool, that's all we eat. Somebody say, I ain't eating that shit, your ass gonna start getting dizzy out of nowhere. Your chip gonna get shut off. You rejecting? That's what Trump's doing right now, man. He's fucking with the amendment right now with that CK situation. You know, you speak out against the government. They're really attacking what we're doing, which is going to cause the famine of the word. Because they say if you're trying to assert aggression towards the government, then you're going to seem like some type of terrorist and they can arrest you without due process. So now you can't have an opinion on what the government's doing and saying, well, this should happen, that should happen. But they could sit there and give your ass life. They could give you an electric chair. They can inject you with shit and kill you. But you better not say nothing ill against them, man. And that's the devil for you, man. Only the Most High should have that power to be able to determine life and death and how things should go. Okay?
I got a preset. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3 says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition."
Yeah, and the brother brought it out earlier, man. You know what I'm saying? That falling away has something to do with us falling away, okay? Because Israel in the time of Yahushua, they was coming together, but they had to be a falling away to where there was no prophets, there's no prophecies. There was an age of that. There was an age during the Hasmonean dynasty, and there's also an age of that. You know, it was a gap. Then Yahushua came, the disciples came, and there was a lot of that going on, and then it had another falling away now during the dark ages. All right? And that falling away, we fell from our heritage. Okay? It's almost like the Hasmonean dynasty was a prelude for what was going to be fixated. You know what I'm saying? You know? Like Jake became Americans in the time of the Hasmonean dynasty, but it wasn't all the way there. Just like Isaac being sacrificed. That was a prelude. It was like, that's what's going to happen, but it wasn't all the way there. And then you had the Passover with Moses. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it was. It got a little bit more outspoken, but it wasn't all the way there. All right? Then Yahushua came. Now, you know, all this what Moses went through, we're going through, and it's real. All right? The Pharaoh is Edom, the whore that ride up upon the dragon, man. Okay? With the 7 heads and 10 horns, the neighboring Edomite countries, NATO and the EU. All right? That through that beast in the system, that's the Pharaoh chasing us down, man. All right, through the blood of the Lamb, we're going to get salvation. Okay? We're going to have to trust in him. But what happened to our people? There was murmuring and complaining about Egypt on the benefits they were getting. Oh, man, we had the fish, we had that. Oh, we had hot Takis. We had the internet. You know, we can go to clubs, we can do this, we can do that. That's our people murmuring and complaining. They don't know how to do it out.
You saw that?
Yeah, they don't know how to do it out, man. Okay? And that's unfortunate. But we are telling our people to come out of her. Because we're doing our due diligence. Just like Moses was telling our people, hey, leave let our people go, right? But then what happened? Pharaoh started afflicting our people more and more. And Jake started getting mad, man.
I think she got a question.
You know? Yeah, how you doing? How you doing? You had a question?
Yeah, what is Israelite?
Well,
I've heard some.
well, they're the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. Okay? What's your nationality? Do you know by chance?
Yeah, I'm African.
African? Well, so now you could be African, you could not be. You probably think you are. You probably you that's corner. Let's get wheat and tares. Because if me as do you believe in the Bible?
Nah, not really.
Okay. Well, why you up there then?
I was just curious.
Oh, okay.
Israelites, the tribe of Israelites. What is that?
Oh, we're letting the nation, we're letting the world know that the Lord's coming, and through his second coming, we're going to be restored.
Jesus or Yeshua?
Yahushua. Well, you don't believe in the Bible. How are you going to give me 2 different
I'm
things?
just curious.
Oh, it's from your different names that you learned?
Yeshua, that's what we call it.
Okay.
Yeshua?
Yeah. What Yahushua?
Yeshua. Call him Yeshua.
Yeah, that's what they taught. But the original Hebrew didn't have a U in it. And know what I'm saying? Just like the original Latin, Greek Latin, and Hebrew didn't have the letter J in it. That's why, you know. So when you go back before that, Yeshua is not even a word that existed.
So what is the tribe of Israel? What is that?
The tribe of Israel, the 12 tribes, it's just like Ham. Ham has sons, because like you said, you're African. There's Mizraim, there's Cush, you know, just like y'all have. Yeah, but that's so. If you're wondering what the 12 tribes is, that is the core stock of the 12 tribes of Israel. Just like Ham is a core stock of all the African tribes. All right, because you had Ham, Shem, and Japheth. We come from Shem. Africans come from Ham. So when Esau, the so-called white man, which he's a Shemite, he said that we're being anti-Semitic for speaking against the Jews. That's BS. An Arab is a Shem. He can't be anti-Semitic because he's from the line of Shem, which is they call it Semitic. Negroes, Edomites, all of them come from the same line, you know. And so we're out here to let our people know that we aren't African. Just because we're dark skinned, everybody was dark skinned at a point, right? Yeah, they were. Everybody was dark skinned at a point, and everybody was. Well, Esau came. Us and Esau came at the same time. Israelites. Just told you.
The 12.
Yeah, the 12 sign.
Negroes have, like there's Negroes. Like,
yeah, you just was taught that.
No, I think it's just like.
Because didn't they have an African leader that said y'all left black and came back white? We can get it.
Yeah.
It's documented.
That's crazy. What happened?
There was an African leader that said that y'all left this land black and came back white.
Why? How does that happen?
I got a theory on that.
Because when you go into history, you go into the Hasmonean dynasty. There was somebody called John Hyrcanus, okay, which was a dark-skinned Israelite, which he was a ruler. How can you say no? You know John Hyrcanus?
No, I don't know, but like it's like
but you
we're
can't
stick to biology.
No. We're going to history. History and biology has a part to play. History, like if I walked there and came back here, that happened. That's a fact.
Definitely.
Right? So I have to go into that. So we can't just stick to biology. We got to go into history. We got to go into truth. John Hyrcanus, historically, this is during the Hasmonean dynasty, the time right before Rome, right? He converted Edomites into Israelites. And that's how you got Herod the Great. He was an Edomite. He was an Idumean. But he was converted by John Hyrcanus to Bills. And that's how the Edomites infiltrated our system and learned how to be Israelites. The Samaritans that we call, it's in the Bible. That woman said, that woman at the well, she said, we worship your God as we do. He said, but you're not an Israelite. Why did she say that? Because historically, Nebuchadnezzar had pushed our people out of the land and forced the Hamites, Africans, into our land. They weren't keeping the laws, and lions were eating them up, and they sent a priest in to show them how to keep our laws, and then they thought they was Israelites. That's why you have a term called Ashkenazi Jews, okay? That's like a certain region of converts, okay? A certain region of converts. Yeah, they converted. Yeah, and when you go into the book of the 13th tribe, all right, because you're looking at skin color.
There's only 12.
Yeah, it's only 12 tribes, but there's a book. If you go into that book, no.
Oh.
There's a book that's written called the 13th tribe, and within that book, the guy that's a fake Jew himself is saying that there has to be a 13th tribe because the 12 tribes aren't these people. So the people in that land has to be the 13th tribe. He was being sarcastic. Okay?
Yeah, I want to hop in this combo because sorry to articulate what I want to say, but everything you said, I agree with. And I only found the Lord right from here, a Hebrew Israelite
like speak from the Bible, understanding that where our culture comes from. So like as we think about why everyone has their own language with us, right? Black people. Well, like me and him, right? Like that's not African or something like Africans got. What I'm saying, they speak something, right? Right. So they speak tribal. Asian people speak Asia.
They also speak French,
Right.
English, German.
But we don't have anything that's rooted in
You guys
love.
have
What is that?
your Ebonics.
That's not a
No,
language.
that's a developed language.
It's something that is yours.
Now, when you go, so let's do Ebonics. Let's stop right there, right? The core of Ebonics came in slavery.
Yeah.
So that's not a root language. That language, hear me out. That language created a certain because I'm from Louisiana, right? The Geechees and all that, they created a certain Ebonics so they can talk, and the slave masters couldn't hear them. So that's not a root language.
But it's not the same right now.
Well, I can make a language up today. That don't mean that it's black people language. That's not the language that. That's not the language that God gave us.
What language is original?
That's what
Hebrew.
I was trying to figure out, right?
Hebrew.
Hebrew. Our original language, like I thought, like here, like we got into slavery, right? And then we adapted. I thought Jesus from the white people. I thought Jesus was the white guy, or was the white people guy. I thought we adapted to speak God. We speak English. We adapted their language. I'm like, why everyone has their own language but us? So when I heard the Hebrew Israelites speak about where we actually come from as black people, and Jesus is black, and Moses is black, and all the prophets that the Most High ever rocked with was black, it wasn't because they was black. It was because they had a certain faith that the Most High gave worthy. Our skin was just a byproduct of it. You know what I'm saying? And exactly. I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay.
Culture.
So they took everything from us. They took our God from us. They took our language from us. Hebrew is an unspoken language. It's an ancient language that we can't even speak of.
And that was done by design. If I take everything away from you, you don't know who you are. You're gonna be what I tell you to be.
So the Israelites were the ones being broken down.
Right.
We've been broken down to this day.
Like people,
The whole
true people of God.
The whole idea of the school system, educational.
It's not the same as African.
Yeah, hear me out. The whole idea of the educational system. Do you realize? Did King David go to school? Did King Alexander go to school? You should, because at the end of, but you have to. But yeah, but I'm just.
Why should I?
Because if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going. You know what I'm saying?
Now to argue a point for you, right? To make a point for you.
But let's get that wheat in the tears. I want to get some just to prove some points. You go ahead.
Okay. So brother,
let me read this real quick. I just want to read this real quick.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 24. Yes,
yeah, the book of Matthew, yeah.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way.
So again, you can't just say I don't got to know history, because now you got to go into what a tare and a wheat is. Because once you go into the concept of tares and wheat, hear me out. I'm going to educate you with it. A tare, I got to explain what a tare and a wheat is, because you wouldn't know. A tare, you can look up on the internet, it's on the phone, but a tare is identical to wheat, but they're not the same. They look the same, but they're not the same. Okay? The seed is talking about coming from man. All right? So if I were to deal with a so-called white woman, my baby will come out darker or lighter. It will come out lighter. Now, if my son, that child is a boy, is still an Israelite based off the Bible, because you are what your father is. And if that baby that's lighter, Blake Griffin, you look at Blake Griffin's children, they look like a basketball player. But he's a light-skinned basketball player, but he's an Israelite by nationality. But the more you have kids with another nation, the more that kid's going to look like that nation. So if we were scattered across the four corners of the earth, you go to Vietnam. You think Negroes went in Vietnam and was just shooting? No, they was dealing with women out there. right? So if that man went out there and laid with a Vietnamese woman, came back over here, right? That Vietnamese boy is an Israelite now, and he's stuck in Vietnam, and he continues to have kids. He's going to eventually look full-fledged Vietnamese, but his spirit is an Israelite.
No, that's not.
We're gonna read it.
That's not what the Bible says.
You're lying.
The,
You can't lie.
The God is a selfish God,
Let's
right?
read.
The God of the
God.
Bible is a very selfish
Matthew
God,
13, verse 25,
You
it
said you
says,
don't read the Bible earlier, so we can't go off that premise. Go ahead.
but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then had the tares? He said unto them, An enemy had done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them.
Yeah, so I can't walk up to somebody that looks like you or look like an Edomite and say that you're not an Israelite because I don't know who your father's father is. I don't have a Urim and a Thummim.
Right, like this brother right here, right? He's more.
Well, you do because you're
but
Hamitic.
his father is of the descent, right? So like Bob Marley, right? Bob Marley looks black, right? He has the melanin, right? The hair and everything, right? But his father isn't a black man, so he doesn't. So he's not from the lineage. He's not considered a Hebrew Israelite.
So J. Cole is an Israelite?
It depends on his father's blood.
Like Drake is an Israelite because his mom.
It's not. It sounds funny, but it's
Yeah,
real though.
but it sounds funny because she's been educated by Esau.
Right.
That's what it is. I'm not about to try to deprogram her, but this proves that we're under oppression because our heathens telling us that don't read the Bible, that's telling us what the Bible is.
Right.
This is truly oppression.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, but see now, this was something that she could have resonated with. Right? This is my problem with the system that I believe